Hi there, Sherman Coders. It's Miss Linvay here, and oh my goodness, we're at week 4 of our Coding Crush Challenge. This is a big week, so you're going to actually have twice as much time to work on this project before submitting it. The submissions are due, if you look at that, it says April 4th at 11:55 p.m. That is the Sunday before we come back from spring break. So you'll have all of this next week coming up, plus you'll have the week of break to work on it, which is good because guess what we're doing this week? We are making a video game. So the previous 2 weeks we played with sprites, we played with backgrounds and how to figure out timing with animations. And now we're going to put all of those skills to use and make a video game. I'm super excited. So what I've created is the game, I'm calling it Miss Linvay's Pong, but I also want to point to a couple of things over here. Let me get that out of the way. So we have a video game planning packet, and the video game planning packet looks like this. All right, and I have printed some out for your teachers. So if you are interested and you don't have a printer at home to print this, you can ask your teachers for the packet and they will give it to you. So this outline on the front here tells you what you need to do. So you're going to start by planning. You're going to think about what kind of game you want to create. And then you're going to do the hard work of creating it. And once it's created, you're going to test it as well. So I want you to fill out this planning sheet first. I want you to think about what kind of game you want to make. Remember to keep it simple because this is our first time. For many of us, it will be our first time making a video game. The next is, what do you want to name? What do you want to call it? What is the theme of your game? And when people play it, what will they need to do? And then how does the game finish? And then you're going to draw out some graphic ideas as well. So then the next thing, after you plan it and after you code it, what I need you to do is you're going to have testers. Now there, I think, are 5 slots here that you can get 5 people to try playing your game. And what these little icons up here are is I want to say 2 things that they like about the game, the reviewer, and 1 wish. One thing they wish was a little bit different or maybe that you could add to it. And then the last part of this is a reflection on the game. Like, okay, so now that you've done it, how much did it change from your original idea? And how different is the final project compared to what you envisioned it to begin with or what your original plan was? And this is, I think, an important part because this is the part that's going to take you into the next game that you create. What do you think you did well during this project? And for me, I have to be honest with you. What I felt I did well, and we'll talk about that in a minute, was the problem solving. It's interesting. So you're going to go through this, and why don't I show you? I have mine here that I filled out when I was making my game. So there it is. So the aim of my game is to score points with for every hit bounce off the paddle. I called it Miss Linvay's Pong, and that's the name it ended up with. Um, Bouncing in a high scoring points, that's the theme. Like you are bouncing and you want to get a lot of points. Hit the ball as many times as you can. If you miss the ball, the game ends. Every 10 hits will equal a level up. So those are the things that your players would need to know. I know the game is finished when the player misses the ball and it hits the red line. And then I drew a little picture to sort of help me figure out how I was going to plan it. Where were things going to be? Where would I want my score? Where would I want my level? Even some of the colors, I think, oh no, I didn't work out colors yet. But I did know I wanted to have a color changing ball. For some reason, that was something I want. So then I had Miss Hendel, Miss Chakraborty, Mr. Cook, and Mrs. Shu, and Miss Morian take a look at the game. They played it. They told me 2 things they liked about the game and 1 thing they wished. And I have to be honest, one of the big things that they gave me feedback on was the instructions. It's so hard when you're making a game. I think you just know how to play it, right? So you don't think about writing the instructions. And so when they encountered the game, they didn't know what to do. And so I had to go back and I had to rewrite my instructions because I had a very simple instructions here. So this is a part where you want to be very explicit. So I think I had just click the green flag and move the paddle is what I wrote originally. And you can see now I have like a whole paragraph here. And that's because it does take a little bit more to do the game. So it says start the game, they click the green flag. Move the green paddle side to side with the mouse or touchpad to hit the ball. Don't let the ball touch the red line or it's game over. Make 40 hits and you win. So it's clear. You know how you're going to lose, you know how you're going to win, and you know what to do. I know I need a mouse or I have to use the touchpad to move the green paddle back and forth. So that's sort of the planning part and what we're going to do. Let's talk about the code because that's what we're here for, right? And coding is tough. I think this is the hardest part of these projects because you can get lost in trying to fix all these little bugs that pop up for you. And I still have a bug in my code, and maybe you guys can help me figure it out when we're all done with this, why it keeps doing it. But I can't seem to get it to go away. How fun is that? So this is my code. I started off with my background. That's the first thing I chose, is what background I wanted my game to have. And so I went to the backdrops. I clicked on the list and I looked at all these different backdrops, and I ended up, you'll see as we move through the game, to make it a little bit more fun, I have the background switch for each level so that there's a difference, so people realize, oh, I leveled up. So I started with that. Once I had my first background selected, then I went and grabbed a sprite. I grabbed the ball sprite because I knew I was going to make a bouncing pong style game. And then the first thing I did when I coded this, let me see, maybe I can pull, I'm going to break my code here for a moment. I think, so what I did, oh, no, it's impossible to break my code at this point. What I did was I actually did this first code over here on the left to just get the ball to bounce around. So, well, I think if I pull this down, and let me go to my green paddle, and I pull that down, and let me go to my red paddle line and pull that down. Now, maybe when I click the green, yeah, see, it just bounces around. It's not leaving the screen. That was the very first thing I did. And then from there, I started adding things. Like I said, okay, well, now I need a paddle. I need something for it to hit on. So I added the green paddle. And then once I did that, I said, okay, well, once the paddle's touching the ball, of course, it's not going to work for me right now because oh, I know what I have to do. I have to restart the code. There we go. The sound wasn't in there yet either, but see, now I have my paddle moving, right? The paddle's moving, but nothing's happening because I have to tell the ball that when it's touching the paddle, it should bounce. And so that's how you sort of start building things. You start simple with your basics, and then you're going to go from there and add each new level. And remember, oh, let me get rid of that. There we go. Remember to really explore all these different tools because and where you put them and how you put them in your code. And that's something I can definitely help with if you run into any problems and you're not quite sure how to fix the problem. And I can show you what's happening in my game. So when I hit the green arrow or the green flag, sometimes it does that. Like it starts and stops really fast. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. And I keep looking at my code and I can't figure it out. So, but going back and forth, you just have to keep playing with what these different pieces are doing and how they're doing it. And one of the things that you can always do when you come into a problem, for example, I'm having a problem with the start. When I click green flag, it starts and then stops. And then I always add in Scratch because that will let the internet search know what I'm looking for. And usually when I type in my question to a Google link, it comes up. See, there's someone else who's had the same question, and it was back in October of 2016. So I can go here and I can read this information. And sometimes it's, easy to understand, and sometimes it's hard, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to help with that part of it. So I'm going to encourage you, if you run into a bug, to do exactly that. When I type exactly what's happening in there and then add in Scratch, and I guarantee you there will be lots of help available for you. That being said, I'm going to repeat it one more time. You can always email me at at Linvey, jlinvey@rhnet.org. You can always stop by the library as well, and I am happy to help anybody work out some bugs in their code. I can't wait to see what you guys create. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. Have a good one.